Hi everyone. As you begin to start your research for your interview project, we just want to remind you about how to identify credible sources that are going to give you the best information. So if you look at this webpage, we just Googled becoming a doctor, and these are the sites that pop up. So you can take a minute to notice the different results that you get. You can look at the title, the websites, and you may notice that they all have something to do with being a doctor, but what we'll learn is that not all of them have the same credibility. So before we look at what those sites actually are, we want to talk to you about the difference between Google searches and library databases. When you go through a library database, those sources and that information has been vetted, meaning that someone's looked at it and verified it as true. So if you can, try to go through a database as much as you can versus using a Google search. You want to look at the authority, meaning who is publishing it, who's the author or the group that are putting it on the website. Are they reputable? Are they someone that can be trusted? And then finally at the content, you want to look at the site as a whole. Does the information seem accurate? Does it seem correct based on what you know about that topic? Is the article objective, meaning does it contain facts or statistics or things that don't contain bias or people's opinions? Does the website look current? You want to look at the dates. If someone's publishing something about social media, you don't want to look at an article from 5 years ago. You want something updated because chances are the information has changed over the 5 years. And does it have advertisements? Advertisements aren't necessarily a bad thing, but you want to look at how many there are or the people that are advertising. Most times, if there's an advertisement on the site, that company is paying the website to have their advertisement on there, which may mean that the information is kind of biased to one way or another. Reliable websites. .com means it's a business or a commercial site. You can definitely use that, but you want to look at those other things that we talked about, the content, the authority, and who's putting it on there. .org is typically an advocacy website, such as a non-for-profit. .net is a network. .edu is normally going to be a good source of information because it comes from an institution of higher education, so typically colleges, universities, and many times those sources are factual, and again, they're vetted, meaning that someone's looked at them and they're pretty credible. And .gov is a federal government site, and the majority of the time as well, this is going to be a good source to get information. So going back to our sources, we're going to examine the first source. When I click on that link, I can look at it. And when I look at the full page, I can see that it is sponsored by AAMC, which is the Association of American Medical Colleges. That appears to be a reputable place. I look at the other websites, or I'm sorry, the other slides in this document, and they seem to be credible. I don't see any advertisements. As I scrolled through, the information that I knew about doctors seemed to be correct. And when I look down at the bottom, well, when that box goes away, you see that it comes from the University of Iowa, and it's a medical center, and there it goes. So it's from the University of Iowa Health Center, and so that's, again, going to be a pretty reputable source because it's a healthcare provider. Again, you need to be scrutinous with it and look at it, but from first glance, this looks like a pretty good site. Looking at my second site, it says how to become a doctor, and when I click on this, it seems to have some good information. As I scrolled through, it talks about the MCAT, which I know is a medical test that people have to take. But then when I look on the sides over here, I can see that this is sponsored, meaning that someone's paying for this to get on there and it's going to take it to another website. I also see over here that it wants me to share my information on Facebook or Twitter or Google+. And so this bar isn't necessarily bad. It doesn't mean that my source is not credible, but I do want to look at this one a little bit more closely than I would say our previous source. And again, I'm looking at this one. It seems to be pretty credible. It's from the American Medical Association. At first glance, it seems like it's reputable. It does have some interesting tabs over here about medical school and choosing a specialty, so that looks like it might be credible. The one thing throwing me off on here is featured products about textbooks. It's going to take me to a link to buy something. So again, it's that sponsored, people are paying for it. So again, you'd want to look at this one a little bit more carefully. So additional resources that you can use. Ms. Pasaltis has set up a database, a Pathfinder for you to help you. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You want to log into Blackboard and go to the Cooper Media Center site. Then over here on the left, you want to go to the Pathfinders tab. And then this is the second folder, 8th grade interview career project. In here are reliable vetted sources that you can use for your research. So if you click on any of those websites, you're going to get very credible information and you can take it. Chances are you probably won't have to search too hard for credible sources. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is a great place to start because it has tons of information. So if I wanted to look up being a teacher, I can just search it. And you'll see that different types of teachers show up, high school teachers versus elementary. I'll click on middle school since that's what I chose. And you can see the different summaries of the jobs. You can see the tasks that they do on a daily basis, so their duties. You can see the work environment, the percentage of people that work in a local, like a public school versus a private school. The steps that you need to take to become a teacher. The median salaries. The outlook. Is this a profession that's going to be sustainable in 10 years? Are we always going to need teachers? So this is a great place for you to start filling in your research. These other ones are great. Here's a Gale database. The Virginia Career Center also provides a lot of information. So definitely use these resources that we've put together for you as you start compiling your research. Good luck.